Mobile speed cameras, right? You see one ahead. Do you drive past happy in the knowledge that you're under the limit, or are you left hoping and praying you slowed down in time enough? Cleveland and Durham Specialist Unit is currently undertaking a crackdown across our area, you have been warned, targeting speeding black spots with limits of either 20 or 30 miles per hour. So are the police speeding vans a welcome sight or something you dread? Somebody who takes action to try and stop motorists getting caught is Bobby. Now, Bobby is not his real name. He runs a Facebook page which lets its 22,000 followers know where the vans are at any one time around our region. Let's talk to Nick Freeman. He's a lawyer known as Mr. Loophole for his skill in finding legal loopholes whilst defending his clients. Nick, good morning.
Morning, mate.
So what are the legalities when it comes to warning people about these cameras?
Well, potentially you could be committing an offence of obstructing a police officer in the execution of their duty. And if you were convicted of that, you could, maximum sentences 1 month in prison, or you could get a conditional discharge. So that's the sort of range. It can only be dealt with at the magistrate's court. These actions are very rarely bought because one of the things the Crown would have to prove is that if you use your headlights to flash someone of an impending speed trap area, the police would have to demonstrate that the person who was warned was speeding at the time. So it's very difficult to prove. They're very rarely bought, and of course, the police also have this sort of moral dilemma that the whole purpose of their presence is not to find motorists, so we're told, but it's to deter motorists from committing an offence. So it's almost a bit rich to say, look, we're here to stop people committing an offence. How can we possibly protest if other drivers also assist in making sure people don't commit offences by warning them of, in fact, there's a speed camera and ensuring that they slow down?
Yeah.
They're, in fact, achieving the same goal. So from a legal perspective, you could be charged with obstructing the police in the execution of their duty. It's unlikely. I certainly wouldn't recommend that you start warning other drivers because you're embarking on something that could be illegal. But there is this interesting moral dilemma. And, of course, we have signs that aren't mandatory. They're guidelines that tend to tell you where there are speed trap areas. And the whole purpose of speed traps is not to raise revenue, so we're told, but just to ensure drivers take their foot off the gas.
So it would be unwise to use your headlights to warn people.
I would never advise anyone to do that.
But what about social media, though? What about this guy on Facebook?
Well, he's obviously conducting a personal crusade, and I don't think from a legal perspective there's anything wrong in doing what he's doing because he's simply providing information that might be obtainable by other sources. I'm not sure, in fact, whether the Highways Authority also have a list that indicate where these mobile sites are. But of course, if you're driving along, it's a fluid situation. He's publishing a list. There's nothing, so far as I'm concerned, that's illegal for him to publish that list. And if people want to look at it, that's there. He's not providing secret information. There's nothing secret about it, and there's nothing wrong with what he's doing, so far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
obviously, the police probably don't like it, but really, if they think about it, what he's assisting in doing is ensuring that people drive more slowly.
Absolutely. I mean, there was a time, Nick, it's a few years ago now, where the police used to provide local radio with a list of where the mobile cameras are actually going to be, and we would read them out.
Yes, absolutely. So, the whole purpose is let's drive more slowly, let's drive within the speed limit. Certainly if you drive abroad, there are signs there. Before you get to a mobile site or a fixed site, there are signs there telling you where those cameras are, or to warn you that there will be a camera, and very shortly afterwards you will come across a camera, so people automatically slow down if they're going too fast at the time. So it's an interesting situation, but I would never recommend from a legal standpoint that you flash your lights to warn people. But then you might say to a work colleague, "Oh, be careful driving home tonight because I saw a van parked, with the camera on detecting motorists." Is that unlawful? It's not. But I mean, when does it become unlawful? And as I say, it's hard to prosecute because you would have to demonstrate that the police are actually being obstructed because that person was actually committing an offence and changed that offence because of your conduct. So it would be very hard for them to prove.
And just finally, Nick, can I just check? People say, if I'm caught by a speed camera, they will allow me 10% plus 2. Is that
No,
true?
that's wrong. That's wrong. It's 10%. They prosecute at 10%. The 10% plus 2 is the level which they prosecute at. So if you're travelling in a 30 limit and you're doing 35 miles an hour, you will be prosecuted. The latitude is 10% plus 1. And it's important to bear in mind those are guidelines, that they are approved guidelines. It will be extremely unusual for anyone to be prosecuted if they were travelling at 10% plus 1. But the prosecution starts at 10% plus 2.
All right. Thank you, Nick, as ever.
It's a pleasure, mate.
Lawyer Nick Freeman, known as Mr. Loophole.